We've got some tragic news coming out of the Lake Tahoe region. A deadly avalanche has struck at Castle Peak. So today we're going to break down exactly what we know happened, get into the science of why this area can be so dangerous, and cover the crucial safety measures that, frankly, could save a life. Let's dive in. And make no mistake, this was not a minor slide. The initial reports confirmed right away that this was a deadly event, right in a popular backcountry spot. With rescue operations still going on, we're still learning about the full impact. So to get our bearings, this all happened on Wednesday, February 18th. The location was near Frog Lake on Castle Peak, which is just west of Donner Summit. Now, if you know the area, you know this is a stunning place, but it's also incredibly challenging, which makes it a real magnet for experienced skiers who are looking for that serious terrain. Okay, so let's get into the specifics of what actually happened out there. What were the conditions that led to something so catastrophic? The crucial thing to understand here is that the snowpack was basically a time bomb. You had these powerful storms that just dumped feet of heavy, dense snow right on top of a really weak, sugary layer of older snow. And that created a deeply unstable situation where even the slightest trigger, a natural fracture or just the weight of a single skier, could unleash absolute catastrophe. And when that snowpack let go, it was a substantial slide. We're talking about a massive, massive amount of snow that just cascaded down the mountain, and it ended up burying a group of skiers who were tragically exploring that area at that exact moment. And just to help you wrap your head around the power we're talking about, an avalanche this big can accelerate to over 80 miles an hour in just seconds. It's not like fluffy powder, it's a destructive force, almost like a river of concrete. Escape is pretty much impossible, and survival becomes a terrifying matter of chance. The second that call went out, a huge rescue effort was launched. So let's take a look at the response on the ground and, of course, the heartbreaking human toll of this tragedy. Officials have now confirmed the news that everyone feared. At least one person has died. And on top of that, 2 other people were rescued and have been hospitalized with serious injuries. And this crisis is not over. The search is still active for several skiers who are still missing. In these kinds of operations, the clock is your worst enemy. Every single second is absolutely critical. This really highlights just how specialized this kind of search is. The crews out there are using avalanche beacons, which transmit signals so rescuers can zero in on a buried person's location. They're also using these long poles called probes to physically search under the snow, and of course, highly trained canine units who can actually smell for human scent, even deep beneath the surface. A tragedy like this really forces us to ask, why? Why did this happen? And to understand that, we need to look at the science of it all, the anatomy of avalanche danger in the Sierra. So what is it about this specific region that makes it so notoriously risky? What are the ingredients that come together to create such a volatile environment for avalanches? The main danger here is what's called a slab avalanche. I want you to picture a thick, heavy slab of snow sitting on top of a really weak, sugary layer underneath it. When that top slab fractures, the entire sheet of snow just releases all at once. This is what creates the most destructive and deadly slides, and it's exactly what the conditions were primed for at Castle Peak. So the key takeaway here is that it's a combination of factors. It's not just one thing. You've got these powerful Pacific storms dumping tons of snow, creating that weak layer, strong layer problem we just talked about. Then you add in steep slopes, wind that loads even more snow onto one side of a ridge, and temperature swings. Well, you've got the perfect recipe for disaster. Avalanche forecasters use a scale just like this one to communicate the risk to the public. And in the days leading up to this event, the danger in the Tahoe backcountry was rated considerable too high. As you can see, that means human-triggered avalanches were considered possible to likely. This was not a surprise event. The warnings were absolutely there. So, this brings us to what might be the most important question of all. How can tragedies like this be prevented? let's break down what an essential backcountry safety plan looks like. The message you will hear from every expert, every survivor, is unanimous. Preparation and education are not optional. They are everything. The decisions you make before you even set foot on the snow are what will ultimately keep you alive. Experts all stress that these 5 steps are completely non-negotiable. Number 1, carry the gear. That's your transceiver, your probe, and your shovel, and you have to practice with it until using it is second nature. 2, get educated. Go take an avalanche safety course. 3, check the forecast from your local avalanche center every single time you go out. 4, travel with partners. Never ever go alone and make sure you have a clear plan. And number 5, maybe the simplest rule of all. Avoid the risk. When the danger rating is high, just stay off of and out from under those steep slopes. No powder turn is worth your life. Beyond the science and the rescue efforts, there is a profound human cost here. This is a tight-knit outdoor community that is now in mourning. This isn't just a news headline. For the people in the close-knit skiing and snowboarding world, this is a deep wound. These were friends, partners, members of their community. The sense of loss is just palpable. And in the wake of this tragedy, you're hearing safety organizations amplifying their message, really doubling down. You have to take the hazard seriously. You have to get the training, and you have to always, always respect the power of the mountains. And of course, our thoughts are with everyone who has been touched by this awful event. The victims, their loved ones, and the incredibly brave first responders who are still out there working in these very difficult conditions. And so that leaves us with a really critical question to reflect on. This isn't just about individual choices. It's about the whole community. How do we as a collective group build a stronger culture of safety, of mentorship, and of cautious decision-making so that everyone gets to come home at the end of the day?